Having perspective gives you so much power. If you are simply able to state out aloud what's occurring to you, it completely changes the game. It completely changes the options that you have available. If, for example, you're really hungry, but you don't realize it, and I mean hungry in terms of the way that it affects your mood, where you're irritable, you're grouchy, you're just being a bit of a dick to everyone around you, you don't quite know why. Oh, duh, it's because I'm hungry. Have you ever had an experience like that? And when simply having that realization, suddenly you're like, now I know exactly what's happening for me. Now I know exactly what to do. Now I can take steps. Whereas all the way up until that point, not only most likely did you not realize what was going on, you possibly didn't even realize there was anything happening. You might have been being quite grumpy and irritable to people around you, but in that moment you would have been like, yeah, well, that's because I'm right and you're all really annoying and you're the problem. Maybe not. Maybe you didn't have perspective. Maybe you were in that state. And what you had to do was name it, was to realize it, was come to the awareness of what was happening, and that you are in it. I find that really useful language. Oh, I'm in a state of hunger. I'm in a state of anger or trauma. I'm in trauma. I'm in anger right now. That's what's been occurring. That's the thing that's been happening to me. That's the thing that I have been stuck in. Past tense, been stuck in. Because the moment we voice it, suddenly, instead of us being in it, we're out here looking at it over there. We remove ourselves simply by stating what had been occurring. One of my first coaches said to me, simply by reaching out, simply by calling him up and saying, hey, here's what's going on for me, he told me that that alone would so often just break the pattern, and it does. Very interesting example from earlier, in my day. I was dealing with someone who was in a state of trauma. And I'm not saying that like an actively traumatic thing was happening to them. They weren't being chased by wolves, but something had occurred to put them in a state to trigger them into being put back into a state, a physiological state of trauma, which changes how the person thinks. And for a little bit, they acted strangely. Not strangely, they acted as a person who was in a state of trauma would act. Through that lens, totally reasonable. But for who they usually are, a bit out of character, right? I'm sure you know what I mean. And once they were able to identify, oh, here's what's happening to me. I'm in trauma. Oh, great. And I'm not saying great that we're in there, but great to realize. Because again, perspective gives you power. Once you're able to look and go, oh, that's what's been occurring, like I said, now you can take steps. Now you can do interventions, you can run your plays, do the things that you need to get yourself out of that state. Whereas up until that point, again, you didn't even realize you needed to. You probably didn't even realize you were in that state at all. And yes, I will repeat this again and again, because there's some subtlety to this, and I want to make sure you understand it. It's not just that once you voice it, then you can start doing things about it. It's also that simply by stating it out aloud, telling a person or saying to yourself, not in your head, but saying it out aloud with your words so you can hear it, that is important. You must hear yourself say the words, I am in trauma, I am in anger, I'm just hungry, etc. Because once you do that, once you voice it, once you hear yourself say those words, it pulls you one step out and changes your ability to affect your state, to have an effect on how you feel. and to regain control. And this is a skill. It is a skill that you can practice. It is a skill that you should practice. And specifically, the skill I'm referring to is the state of being able to notice when you are in those moments. Practice it, voice it, state how you feel. Anytime you've had a weird, funky day and you're looking back on why maybe things turned out a little bit odd, hopefully a reflective period of your day or your life is part of how you practice living. And in those moments, just voice and say to yourself, oh, that's what was occurring then. Practice it in those moments so that when you are in it, you're more likely to be able to access it than access that awareness. I hope this is making sense. I hope this has made sense. It's a bit subtle, it's a bit abstract, but if you can get good at this, very powerful, extremely useful. Good luck practicing. All the best. If you enjoyed this video, I would love for you to write down in the comments what you found useful. And this is not just for me, this is for your own consolidation. This is for your benefit to enhance, by putting it down into words, will help you lock in what you've learned and will help me learn what I can give to you next time. If you found this really helpful, share it with a friend if you'd like. And if you're new to the channel, I post a new video every single day, always on a different topic. So if you'd like to see what I talk about tomorrow, hit that subscribe button. You'll be the first to know. Thank you again for your time. Thanks for joining me in this video today. Live well.